All right, we're live. Hi, Hair Scrippers. This is your girl, Beverly Hines, founder and CEO of Hair Scripts. We are the platform and community connecting Black and Brown women with hair loss to hair loss treatments and solution. And what a good way to kick off this podcast, guys, with the one and only Evie Johnson. She is a certified trichologist, hairstylist who's been featured several times on The Cut Life, and she's the founder of Evie Johnson's Hair Solutions. Evie Johnson, thank you so much for joining me today and the fellow hair scrippers on our podcast, our Ask the Experts segment. How you doing today?
Oh, Belly, I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking, and truly thank you for having me on your platform. I appreciate it.
Oh no, we're absolutely excited to have you. I mean, first of all, your work is so dope. And for those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with female pattern hair loss. So, I started noticing my shedding in 2018. And I'm doing everything to fight and grow it back. But I mean, when I looked at your haircuts, I was like, I don't know, honey. We might want it to be healthy and thriving, but I might not mind a little short style. So before we continue and we go into styles and all kinds of things, I would like to know more about you, assuming everyone on the platform doesn't know who you are. Please tell us about yourself. Tell us about, Evie Johnson's Hair Solutions and your story. What led you to this point?
Well, thank you for asking. So me, I have been a hairstylist first for 28 years. And so me being a hairstylist for 28 years, I realized in my journey of that I kept seeing clients thinning over time. Like it was a loss of hair. Like I was doing hair extensions. I was relaxing every 6 to 8 weeks because that's what we were taught for African American. When you leave the salon, don't forget to book your relaxer. Don't forget to book your relaxer. It wasn't so much a book your treatment. It was, that was the rule. That's how it went. And so over time, I just started to see things that may started out like this big and just maybe like a quarter size. And then it got big to a point where you could put both hands together.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So, when I was in beauty school, the first time I heard the word trichology was like, whoa, what is that? And they were like, well, that's a person who studies the hair, like a hair doctor. And I said, well, I want to be that. And they was like, oh, you got to go back to college. You got to do this. And I was like, at that point, I was like, listen, I'm already going to college for acting. That's too much. So that word just stayed with me. And then, like I said, me doing hair, seeing people lose their hair intrigued me. And so I heard the word trichology, and then I realized it was a trichologist. But people didn't want to share the information. People didn't want to tell you where they got their certification from.
Oh, really? Okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even to this day, it's such a secret society, believe it or not.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's not many of us because it is a secret society. Nobody really wants other people in. It's almost like we kind of keep it to ourselves. What they do, I don't.
Okay.
So I kept asking people, where do I go? And people that was trichologists kept sending me on a wild goose chase. And I was like, you know what? And the internet wasn't popping like it is now.
Right.
So I eventually found it on the internet of Google. And then I got my certification. And so I've been at it for 10 years, being a certified trichologist, about 10 or 11 years so far. And what I said was, once I get to this point of when I find out how to become a trichologist, I was just going to stand at the mountaintop and I was going to let everybody know how to get it, because it needed to be more of us to tell the story and how to treat people. And so I definitely did that. And so what I do is I teach. I belong with the organization called IAT, which is International Association of Trichologists.
Okay.
So I travel the world, not just in the U.S. I've spoken in Venezuela, Canada, Australia, Spain, anywhere.
Wow, for trichology?
Yes. So it definitely puts me in a place where, and the thing about it is nobody wants to deal with scar and alopecia, which is, alopecia that most are self-inflicted mostly. It's a lot of African-American women. So a lot of people just kind of put it to the side. With me, I'm like, no, let me just take this head on. And so that started my journey there. And then me, of course, being a hairstylist. I've been with Mazzani for 13 years. I am the technical global the technical global, I'm the global technical director. I was always sister. And basically, I'm responsible for like training, all the trainings, all of the lab trainings, the Zooms and things of that nature, and all of the artists, train them up to be the best. I'm always trying to get people to see the best in them.
Right.
And so I have a salon and a clinic, and I do like I have a clinic called Tridoct, and
Okay. Where is it?
that's in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay.
What I do there is for hair restoration, where people can't grow their hair. We can move hair from other places and implant it other places.
Oh, you guys do hair transplant treatment?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
So humble. You're like, oh yeah, I cut hair. And you're like, no.
yes.
You're like, all right, look, go ahead.
So I deal with that, and of course, I'm a mother of four, and just traveling the world has definitely been an honor to be able to teach.
Yes.
And, just do Evie. So that's part of who I am.
Wow, there's so much about you, and there's so much to unpack. But let's just go back and for those people in the back who don't really know, and I know you kind of said what trichology is, but talk about the day-to-day of what you actually do as a trichologist for someone who says, "Oh my God, I'm losing my hair."
Okay, so when someone comes in and says, I'm losing my hair, I first find out what is the loss. What do you mean? Because shedding is one hair loss. So when a person is saying that they're losing their hair, I need to know what kind. So if you're having a shedding all over, we classify that as diffuse.
Okay.
DFFUSE, diffuse hair loss. And that comes from more of the endocrine system. It can be from stress. It can be from hormonal. It can be from thyroid, anemia, any of those things. And some of them can be permanent or non-permanent.
Right.
Self-correct it. So I have to find out what they mean by hair coming out. So that's more of a shed.
Okay.
And then, oh, by the way, they have breakage. Where's the breakage coming from? So I have to determine which one do they have. And then if somebody says I have burning and it's itching and it feels like it's on fire, and normally it gives me indication that it's scarring. So my day-to-day is to have them, of course, we do consultations. And then after the consultation, I will assess and then make recommendations based on what I see.
Gotcha. And so do you feel that your treatments are more kind of botanical or all natural? Do you use any type of, active ingredients or chemical treatments, etc.? Does it
90% of it is all natural. Like very much, I am a plant-based my diet is plant-based. So I believe in that. Everything from the earth can kind of heal. I am the one that's going to go to the natural path before I go to the Western medicine. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely treating everything natural, no medication.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about the plant-based. I mean, does that really affect, does your nutrition or what you eat actually affect your hair or the outcome of your hair loss?
Yes, it affects everything. Yeah, it affects everything.
Okay.
So those of us who are not drinking a lot of water, think about it. You have your cells, your hair is a cell. Okay. So a hair is a cell. And if you're not watering the cell, then how do you expect it to grow? Mm-hmm. So if you don't water the cell, then you have dryness and you complain, oh, my skin dry, my hair is flaking, my hair is this.
Right.
So definitely, yeah. And then not to mention, the body needs blood. The body has blood. In order to be able to feed these cells, it needs food and water. The food is from the blood. The blood brings all the nutrients to the hair follicle.
Okay.
And so if the blood is thick because you ain't drinking water, how much do you think of the nutrients going to get there?
Wow. They don't talk about that.
I know they don't.
Those massages actually work, those scalp
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Find out you guys are doing scalp massages over there.
Yeah, we are. You definitely need massaging. You need to drink a lot of water so the blood is not so thick. The blood needs to be swift so it can transport through the body and bring all the proteins and amino acids and enzymes that it needs to, to help with those cells to grow and things of that nature so it can continue to just flourish.
Gotcha. So let me ask a question. Is hair loss reversible? Is it?
Is hair loss reversible? Depends on what you have. Most cases they are. You have some alopecias like alopecia totalis and universalis. Those things like that you really don't reverse, but those all is so many hair loss. So many. We're just kind of stuck to maybe one or two, but it's so many.
Right.
But when it comes to genetically, you can definitely, it's easy to help with genetic hair loss, meaning hair loss you get from, your mom or your dad or whatever. It's easy because it's more of It's a enzyme called DHT, which is dihydro testosterone.
Okay.
So DHT is what affects the hair follicle, which runs in the blood.
Right.
So we can help eliminate the DHT out of the bloodstream. But when it comes to like scarring, it's more of a tissue. It's a pool. It's like the tissue underneath where the hair shaft,
Okay.
is, in the dermis area, under the follicles and stuff. I mean, where the follicles live is you can create tissue. So when the tissue is created, you already know. Just think of the tissue. Just think about your toilet and thinking about toilet paper and how if you put too much in there, it will clog your toilet.
Right.
So think about it in that way, and just know that when we do the braiding, the extensions, and the relaxers, and the colors where it's too much, we break up that tissue, and the tissue gets in the way, and the hair can't come through the follicle.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a good segue and transition into the actual topic of today's podcast, which is about protective styling, or i.e., just styling your hair in general, right? So as Black women, Black and brown women, we love to switch it up. We got to look different, and sometimes I want my inches to be popping. Sometimes I want to be curly Sue. But really, talk to the cynical person who says it seems like everything or anything I do is going to cause hair loss, is the inevitable. So I'm just going to live my best life. What do you say to that person? What are some things that person can do where they can still have their cake and eat it too?
Well, you still have your cake and eat it too, because so I'm done with you, Beverly. I'm going to get my hair braided. And I do it in a way to where, one, you shouldn't feel braids. The braids in my hair, I shouldn't feel it. If I feel what they're doing, then that means that they have definitely went down past my epidermis, which is the first layer, to my second layer, which is my dermis, where you have sensation.
Okay.
Where you feel stuff. That means you bypass that layer. If I feel that, then you got to take that out. So it's okay to get braids, but it's okay for it not. You shouldn't have to take Tylenol. You shouldn't have to get a headache. You shouldn't experience these.
Right.
They should not hurt. They should not hurt. You know. So get them in a way to where you don't put them in constantly. Take them out. Let me get another set. Let me get another set. Let me get another set. It's okay for hit or miss, vacation, a little transitioning or whatever you want to do, 2 or 3 weeks, and then take it out. So we just we just overdo it.
Gotcha. So if it's heavy, is that a sign that it may be a problem?
Yeah, too heavy there. The hair can't handle it naturally. It's almost like, let's talk about locks, for an example.
Okay.
Locking. Eventually you see people who have locks in their hair. They got about 10 years on locks. Expiration date taps out at 10 years.
Right.
What I mean by that, you will start seeing them either have recession in the front, or either you start to see where the are so wide because they're thinning out based on the weight and gravity. It's unnatural to take the hair, put it together, tell it stay here, and then have it down your butt. And then, oh, by the way, let me twist it up. Let me roll it up.
Gotcha.
In a bun and let it stay for 2 weeks, and that thing is pulling. It's like a pull. It's like putting an anchor down in the ground to hold a boat down.
Right.
That pull, you want to see it. And anybody who have locks, I can feel exactly what the size of them, the diameter, and everything, because it's almost like you make imprints into the scalp.
Wow. So is there a safer lock though? Like maybe sister locks?
Sister locks are definitely safe.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sister locks are definitely safe. My daughter has them. She's had them for like 15 years and she's no problem.
First of all, the fact that you have a daughter that's had sister locks for 15 years, I'm not past that, but we don't crack. So we're going to keep moving. So let's talk about the braids again, right? Is there because I've heard of knotless braids.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about twists? Passion twist?
All of those things are great as long as you don't feel it. Not too heavy. And it's not a long time, and it's not over abused.
Do you recommend a certain type of hair? Take notes, ladies.
I don't recommend a certain type of hair, but just understand that the Caicolon hair does have formaldehyde in it. So some people can definitely have irritation. So right now they're doing the apple cider stuff.
Right. Rinses.
So you don't be allergic. I mean, it's not real, but they do treat it with formaldehyde, and you just got to be careful of those things.
So you kind of recommend no synthetic hair, go natural if you're going to pick hair.
No, I just say just make sure you're not allergic to it.
Gotcha.
You got to do what works for you.
And let's talk about lace fronts, because I'm one of those that I may not be the braid person, but I might want a good lace front so I don't have to bleach my own hair. What are your thoughts about that and the edges?
Mm-hmm. So lace fronts, I'm not a fan.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh my gosh, we lost so many people. Come back, come back.
And let me tell you why. Again, it's okay to use them for hit or miss.
Okay.
But some of the lace front that you may purchase from the store, and we got to talk about lace front. It's different qualities. It's not the same. Just because you may get a lace front that's going to be price point's going to be higher, you got to think about the people who listen to this who can't afford that, who might go get a lace front that's at $50, and think about the $50 lace front that they sell in the Asian stores, where they treat it's the same screen the lace front is made out of the same door screen you use for a front door.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh my.
You see what I'm saying? And so we all saying it's okay for a lace front, but we're not talking about quality. We talk about quality, it's something different, Okay. So that lace front of the quality, that $60 one is equivalent to their door screen, is to rip all this out. So then it costs you to have traction alopecia, and then of course costs you to have frontal fibrosis, which is something that is alopecia that is basically came out about 10 years ago. Nobody can seem to understand where it comes from. But all of that can happen, and then that chemical that they treat this hair with, we have a follicle. Understand it has a hole, a pore, and that seeps down in there, gets to the bloodstream.
Wow. Because I was under the impression, and help me, correct me, I was under the impression, well, you know what, glueless is fine, because I don't believe in the glue, and the glue is not good for your follicles. So I usually shop for glueless wigs. Or I don't know if you know, but they have like those bands. They're kind of like these Velcro bands that you could put the wig on. Yeah. So, okay. So, there's safer alternatives out there.
And guess what? Those bands are great. I do recommend those. But as long as it's not directly to your scalp, then you just got to think about it. Because everybody can go out and get a lace that's costing them $1,000 to $1,500. It's more.
Right. So listen, ladies. So, these celebrities are doing it all the time, but they're celebrities. And think about the quality of hair that they have. And it's just more efficient for photo shoots, right? Because they have to take new photos all the time. So it's just the best way to kind of transition in and out. But for us everyday girls, you're great, but we're not celebrities, at least not yet. You might want to reconsider that.
Reconsider. And if it's going to be lesser quality, just use the the bands around your hairline or whatever, the little wig things to keep on there. Just protect your hairline at all costs, and just make sure that it's not something that you live in. It becomes your new normal. But the questions and concerns I have is not so much of like the temporary like mood transitioning. It all stems from why. I know we like to transition and get new hairstyles and things like that. But we're beautiful, and I think that's something we need to, teach our culture and our Black and brown girls, that we're beautiful, whether our hair curls, whether it shrinks, whether it frizz, it doesn't matter. I just think a lot of times, this goes back to beginning of times where we're told that our hair is nappy, is kinky, is this, and so there's so many derogatory words to come behind the word natural. So we have to live in it. It's just that as long as we teach this and we preach this about our culture and our beauty and why we do certain things, then it's okay to do styles. But when you don't understand why, you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, that's what really kind of like affects the mindset, right? How we kind of train our children, our girls, our sisters, our brothers, and things of that nature. So we just got to it's a fine line. It's a fine line. So when we speak to different, just understand we like different because our hair is able to do different, but understand that certain texture types we have are the most fragile.
Isn't that weird? Because I would think 4C, even 3C, 3B, we have more, resilient hair. No, I would assume.
No, it's how the hair grows out from the scalp. So if it grows out more on a, more like on a vertical, then it's fragile because it has more of a zigzag pattern. If the hair grows out more of a horizontal, it's stronger, because it has more of a curl to it. So just know that, I think 4C is equivalent to what we use as professional as texture type 8.
Okay.
Which is more of a zigzag for you and it grows vertical, that's a problem because you think you see that hair. You like, oh, it's so short. Let me put a super relaxer on it.
Right.
Put it on there, it burns the scalp and causes it to have CCCA. And then, oh, by the way, you damage the growth of my hair. So
Wow.
be careful.
So I know we're going to wrap up soon. So just a few questions and then I'm going to let you go, which I really don't want to. Quick question. We're going into the colder weather, at least if you're in the east side. I know for me, I'm in New York. What do you recommend we do? Should we cover it up? What should we do to make sure that we keep our hair moisturized and healthy?
Let's start with the diet first.
Okay.
First and foremost, eat for your blood type. Find out what your blood type is. You eat for your blood type, and
that's a gem.
Yeah, eat for your blood type. So if you're A positive, eat for A positive. Whatever you weigh, if you weigh 150 pounds, you need to be drinking 75 ounces of water. Okay,
that's wow.
Yes, and then second, to find the product to work best for your hair, you need moisture. You need to find an even balance of moisture and protein. And knowing what your texture type is, knowing what your hair, what it looks like when it grows out of your scalp, find out what that needs.
Okay.
Now, find out what your body and blood type. Let's find your texture type. Find out what it needs. Does it need more moisture or protein and moisture? Find out what that is. And then, oh, by the way, find styles that's not going to be to where you're caking different other products on it. Stop being a product junkie. Just figure out what works best for you.
Right.
And then if you don't figure it out, cleanse the body, cleanse the hair. So if you cleanse the body, cleanse the hair. And then second, if you're going to do a protective style, just don't let it be for months at a time. Just get the protective style, underneath it, just protect it, make sure it stays hydrated. Stop picking up all this coconut oil from moms and these organic markets and putting on the hair. It's not done. The molecules are not that small where it's to penetrate to our hair shaft. Just get what's in the store that has coconut oil in it and stop trying to make everything in your own. And black seed oil does not grow your hair back.
Black seed oil or black castor?
Black castor oil, whatever, Jamaican oil, whatever that is, does grow your hair back. So stop putting all this stuff in our scalp. We need to breathe. You know what I'm saying? The scalp, we need to breathe. And
you recommend just washing your hair and just letting it air dry and putting nothing on it, or so that it could just breathe?
No, if you do that, it needs something. Everybody can't just wash and go. You need something to keep it moisturized. And remember, it depends on your texture type. So if your texture type is a 4, if it's like an open wave type of curl, then you do less product. Let me just do something like a cream to kind of keep it in place.
Right.
Texture type 7, oh, I need more moisture, so I need a little bit more creamy or something, and it would coconut marula oil and argan oil, those things like that. It's all the things we need to know more about hair history and body composition before we try to go into those things.
There's so much to ask. I mean, and you've just opened Pandora's box with talking about eating for your blood type, how much ounces of water you're supposed to drink based on your weight, just the type of products that actually don't penetrate through the scalp or the dermis. So there's so much more to ask, but unfortunately we're running out of time. So for people who want to know more about this, where can we find this information from you?
I guess it would just have to basically DM me. My Instagram is contact Evie. You can just DM me. I don't have anything that's like basically set in stone saying, well, all this information live, unless you've been to several of my classes.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, that's pretty much, you just DM me on Instagram and I will definitely get back with you and make a recommendation.
Well, thank you so much, Evie. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully you come back.
Of course. Anytime you're ready, just be ready.
There has to be a part 2 so you can now really get down into the nitty gritty. So I go into my refrigerator, last question, and I want to put something on my hair and I just want to be consistent with it. What do you recommend?
If you go in your refrigerator?
Right.
Water.
Water. All right. Got you. It's loud and clear, guys. If you didn't hear anything else today, drink water and drink for your weight.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And unless there's anything else you want to say to everyone, have a great one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Beverly. Talk to you soon.